The morning started like any other in the sleepy town of Maple Creek. Sunlight crept over the hills, bathing Main Street in a golden haze. Tom Bennett unlocked the doors to Bennett's Auto Repair, the same way he had for nearly 30 years. The routine was comforting. Coffee brewing in the corner, the familiar scent of oil and rubber, and the steady hum of engines needing his attention. Tom was the guy everyone trusted with their cars, but he kept to himself. He was polite, quick, with a handshake or a nod, but never one for small talk. Folks respected him, even if they didn't know much about his past. Only a few old-timers remembered that Tom had once worn Army green, serving overseas before settling down to raise a family and build his business. That Tuesday, a new face pulled into the Lada late-model sedan with out-of-state plates. The driver, a woman in her 30s, stepped out and glanced around, looking a little lost. Tom wiped his hands on a rag and greeted her with a quiet, "Morning. What can I do for you?" She smiled, relieved. "Oil change, please. And maybe a quick look at the brakes? I'm just passing through, but I heard you're the best in town." Tom nodded, motioning her inside. "You heard right. I'll get you fixed up." She settled in the small waiting area, sipping coffee and scrolling through her phone. Tom got to work, sliding under the car, checking fluids, inspecting the brakes. As he worked, he noticed a military sticker on the back window, subtle but unmistakable. He felt a flicker of curiosity, but didn't say anything. When he finished, Tom stepped inside to return her keys. As she reached for her wallet, something slipped out and landed on the counter, a worn, laminated military ID card. The woman blushed, quickly picking it up. "Sorry about that," she said, tucking it away. Tom caught a glimpse of the unit insignia. His heart skipped. "You served with the 101st?" he asked, voice softer than usual. She looked up, surprised. "Yeah, 2nd Battalion. You know it." Tom smiled, a rare warmth lighting his eyes. "I do. I was with 2nd Battalion 220 years ago." For a moment, the garage was silent. The woman stared at him, then broke into a grin. "No way. I'm Anna Carter. Deployed to Iraq in 2008. Tom Bennett," he replied, shaking her hand. "Desert Storm, 91. They laughed, the years between them shrinking in an instant. Stories spilled out about training, about the base, about the weird quirks of their old CO. Anna mentioned a sergeant whose sayings had become legend. Tom finished one of the phrases, and they both burst out laughing as they talked. Tom realized how much he'd missed this kind of connection, the shorthand, the shared memories, the sense of belonging that only came from serving in the same unit, even decades apart. Anna glanced around the shop, her eyes landing on a faded photo on the wall. Tom, much younger, standing in front of a Humvee with his. "Squad, that's you, isn't it?" she asked. Tom nodded. "That was my crew. Some of us still keep in touch. Most folks around here don't know that part of my life." Anna smiled. "It's funny, isn't it? We go back to civilian life, and it's like that whole chapter gets tucked away, until something like this happens." They sat in the waiting area, swapping stories as the morning sun climbed higher. Customers came and went, but for a little while, the garage felt like a time machine. Two soldiers, 20 years apart, brought together by chance and a piece of plastic dot. When Anna finally stood to leave, she shook Tom's hand again, this time with real gratitude. "Thanks, Tom, for the oil change and for reminding me I'm not alone out here." Tom grinned. "Anytime, soldier. Safe travels." As Anna drove away, Tom watched her car disappear down Main Street. He felt lighter than he had in years. The old sense of brotherhood rekindled by a simple twist of fate. He turned back to his work, a smile lingering on his face. In Maple Creek, where life moved slow and secrets stayed buried, a single military ID had sparked a reunion 2 decades in the making and reminded Tom that some bonds never fade. The next few days passed in a blur for Tom. He found himself replaying his conversation with Anna over and over, the way her eyes had lit up when she realized their shared history, the easy laughter that came with old army jokes. For the first time in years, Tom felt a longing for the camaraderie he'd left behind. That Friday, as Tom was closing up the shop, he heard the familiar jingle of the bell. Anna stepped inside, holding a box of donuts and a shy smile. "I figured you deserved a thank you," she said, setting the box on the counter. "And honestly, I could use a little more of that army talk. It's been a while." Tom grinned, waving her toward the battered office chairs. "You're always welcome here, Anna. Veterans get free coffee and a listening ear." They sat in the office, sharing donuts and stories. Anna talked about her time in Iraq, the sandstorms, the endless heat, the moments of fear, and the rare, golden bursts of laughter. She told Tom about the friend she'd lost to an IED, about coming home and feeling like she'd left a piece of herself behind. Tom listened, nodding in understanding. "It took me years to settle in after Desert Storm," he admitted. "Even now, there are days when the past feels closer than I want it to." Anna asked about his family, his life in Maple Creek, and how he built the garage from scratch. Tom told her about his late wife, about raising 2 kids in a small town, about the pride and pain that came with service. As the evening wore on, Anna grew quiet. "Sometimes I feel like people don't get it," she said. "Like I'm carrying around this whole other life no one can see." Tom nodded. "You're not alone. There are more of us out there than you think. You just have to know where to look." They made a plan to meet up again, maybe invite a few other local veterans. Tom knew a couple of guys who'd served in Vietnam, and Anna mentioned a friend from Afghanistan who'd recently moved to town. The next week, they gathered at the local diner. 4 veterans, 4 wars, 1 table. They swapped stories, shared laughs, and for a little while, the weight of the past felt lighter. Anna thanked Tom as they left. "I needed this," she said. "Thank you for making me feel like I belong." Tom smiled. "You always did. Sometimes you just need someone to remind you." Word spread quickly in Maple Creek. Soon, more veterans started showing up at the shop, sometimes for car repairs, sometimes just for coffee and conversation. Tom put up a small sign in the waiting area. "Veterans welcome coffees always hot." Anna and Tom started a monthly breakfast for local vets. They invited anyone who'd served, no matter the branch, no matter the era. The group grew, and soon the diner was filled with laughter, stories, and the easy camaraderie that only comes from shared experience. One morning, a young man named Jake showed up. He was fresh out of the army, struggling to find his place. Anna spotted him sitting alone and invited him to join their table. At first, Jake was quiet, but as the group welcomed him, he began to open up. Tom watched as Anna listened to Jake, offering advice and encouragement. He felt a swell of pride. This was what it was all about. Helping each other, lifting each other up. The breakfasts became a fixture in town. Even non-veterans started stopping by, drawn by the sense of community. The mayor attended one morning and offered to help fund a new Veterans Resource Center. Tom and Anna worked together to organize fundraisers, car washes, and community events. Through it all, Tom and Anna's friendship deepened. They became each other's confidants, sharing the ups and downs of daily life. Tom taught Anna how to rebuild an engine. Anna taught Tom how to use social media to spread the word about their group. One afternoon, as they worked side by side in the garage, Anna looked over and said, "You know, I never thought I'd find a family like this again." Tom smiled. "Me neither, but here we are." The months that followed saw Maple Creek transformed in subtle but powerful ways. The little garage on Main Street became more than just a place for oil changes and brake jobs. It turned into a gathering spot, a safe haven for veterans and townsfolk alike. Tom and Anna's monthly breakfasts grew, filling the diner with laughter, stories, and the easy camaraderie that only those who've served can truly understand. As the veterans group expanded, so did its purpose. With the mayor's support, Tom and Anna helped open the Maple Creek Veterans Resource Center in a renovated storefront next to the post office. The center offered counseling, job placement, and a quiet place to share a cup of coffee. Anna took charge of outreach, using her newfound social media skills to connect with veterans in nearby towns. Tom handled logistics, repairs, and most importantly welcoming every new face with a handshake and a genuine smile. Jake, the young Army vet who'd once sat alone at breakfast, found his footing. With encouragement from the group, he enrolled in college and started volunteering at the Resource Center, helping other young veterans navigate the transition home. His transformation inspired others, and soon, the center buzzed with activity resume workshops, support groups, even a weekly poker night. Tom's shop remained the unofficial headquarters. Veterans would swing by for advice, a tune-up, or just to talk. Tom hung a bulletin board in the waiting area, covered with photos, thank you notes, and flyers for upcoming events. The sign on the counter, "Veterans Welcome Coffees Always Hot," became a symbol of the new spirit in town. Anna and Tom's friendship deepened, rooted in mutual respect and shared experience. They confided in each other about the hard days, the anniversaries that brought back memories, the nights when sleep wouldn't come, the weight of loss that never fully disappeared. Through it all, they found solace in knowing they weren't alone. Community noticed the change. Local businesses donated supplies to the center. The high school organized care package drives for deployed troops, and the town council declared November Veterans Appreciation Month. Maple Creek, once a quiet dot on the map, became a place where service was honored and every story mattered. One crisp autumn morning, Anna arrived at the garage with exciting news. "We got the grant," she announced, waving a letter. "We can expand the resource center, add a computer lab, a mental health office, maybe even a little gym." Tom grinned, pride shining in his eyes. "You did this, Anna. You brought us all together." She shook her head. "We did it. All of us." That evening, the veterans group gathered for a celebratory dinner. The mayor gave a short speech, thanking Tom and Anna for their leadership. Jake presented them with a plaque for building a family, for healing old wounds, for reminding us that no one has to walk alone. Tom looked around the room, at the faces young and old, at the laughter and the tears, and felt a deep, quiet joy. He realized that what had started as a chance encounter in his garage had grown into something lasting, something that would outlive them all. Years passed, and the veterans group became a fixture of Maple Creek life. The Resource Center expanded, offering new programs and reaching more people each year. Tom's shop thrived, not just as a business, but as a community hub. Anna, now a recognized leader in the region, was invited to speak at state conferences and help other towns build their own veterans networks. Tom's children, now grown, returned home for a visit one summer. They were amazed at how much their father had changed. "You seem happier, Dad," his daughter said one evening as they sat on the porch. Tom nodded, gazing at the sunset. "I am. I found my people again. I found purpose." Anna, too, found healing she hadn't known she needed. She reconnected with her family, started writing about her experiences, and even began mentoring younger women veterans. The sense of isolation that had haunted her for years faded, replaced by belonging and hope. On the 10th anniversary of the group's founding, Maple Creek held a celebration in the town square. There were speeches, music, and a slideshow of photos, smiling faces, community events. and snapshots of the little garage where it all began. Tom took the stage, his voice steady but thick with emotion. We all carry stories, some heavy, some joyful, all worth sharing. When Anna's ID fell out that morning, I thought it was just a coincidence. But looking back, I know it was something more. It was a reminder that we're never as alone as we think, and that even in the quietest corners of the world, we can find family. Anna joined him, her hand on his shoulder. This isn't just our story, she said. It's everyone's. It's about reaching out, showing up, and building something that lasts. The applause was long and heartfelt. As the sun set over Maple Creek, veterans and townsfolk mingled in the square, sharing food, laughter, and memories. Children played tag around the war memorial. Teenagers helped serve dinner, and the old-timers swapped stories under the string lights. Tom stood at the edge of the crowd, watching Anna laugh with Jake and a group of new recruits. He felt a profound sense of peace, a certainty that, whatever tomorrow brought, the bonds they'd forged would endure. He looked down at the faded photo in his wallet himself, young and strong, standing with his unit all those years ago. He smiled, knowing that the brotherhood he'd cherished had never really left him. It had only changed shape, finding new life in a small-town garage, a cup of coffee, and a simple act of recognition. As the stars blinked on above Maple Creek, Tom Bennett closed up his shop for the night, heart full. He knew that in this quiet town, every story mattered, and sometimes the smallest moments could change everything.